conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping and Paul Felder.
Look at that red face. 5 days in Mexico, Paul. That's what it'll do to you.
I just got all blurry.
Oh, dearie me. Well,
there we go.
I got a little blurry in Mexico as well. I'm not going to lie. So the diet starts here today. The no drinking starts here because we went to an all-inclusive. Great place. Yeah. 7 restaurants. The food was phenomenal in every single one. It really was. Because we've never done an all-inclusive before. And I was like, I always wondered if they were kind of tacky or if there's some
you worry about that sometimes, right?
Yeah,
maybe it's not as good.
Yeah, bro, this place was unbelievable. So we had no choice but to overindulge. But by the end of it, Jesus Christ, we saw out Saturday night. Saturday night. We came back Sunday with an 8-course meal at this restaurant. Oh. Yeah, I was just like, get me the out of it. I couldn't take another day. We were in bed early. We got lots of sleep. It was nothing crazy. It was me and Rebecca. Very calm, very chill. But just, lying by the pool, having a few drinks, going out to dinner, having a few drinks, going out on a yacht, having a few drinks. I'm like, I need a break. I need a detox. So we're back.
What's Rebecca's go-to drink, Michael? It's always interesting to ask guys I know. Like, I know what you tend to drink, but like, what is she drinking when you guys are out?
She likes a gin and tonic. She's a red wine girl all the time. Red wine over anything. But if she's going to have a cocktail, she's gin and tonic. So there was a few gin and tonics. There was a few vodka tonics. There was a few beers. There was a few tequilas. No shots. No nothing like that. But anyway, we're back. Today is a very special episode of the podcast. We have the one and only Paul Felder joining us, of course. We've got lots to talk about in the mixed martial arts world. But... and this is all Paul Felder. We have this is all you, Paul. We have the Ninjas or Butterflies podcast joining us. You've been watching these guys for a while. I'll kick it over to you. You've been watching them for a while. So I looked them up. They're big into conspiracies. Brian's going to be jumping on, I'm sure, left, right, and center. And you hooked it up.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking back and forth with them ever since I stumbled upon them. More importantly, on Instagram. I know that it's all from their podcast, but in this day and age, short clips really sell, and they sold me big time on just their reels on Instagram and the stuff that they're talking about, and it's just a lot of it's wacky. Now, granted, you don't go to their page and, want to know where's the research papers on all this shit. It's just fun conspiracy stuff. And they dive into it from, the Vatican and the church to the CIA and, aliens and everything. I'm actually wearing their shirt and it's got like a big alien thing on the back of it. They sent me some swag a while back. So I figured I'd put the shirt on for them.
He's got the merch on and everything. This guy is a fan. My God. So,
they crack me up. They do crack me up. Yeah.
So they'll be coming on in a bit and we'll have some fun with them. But, of course, we've got all the MMA stuff to get through. And this weekend, Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates. Are you commentating the fight card, Paul?
I am indeed. All of them, Michael. All 14 fights of them. It's a big card this weekend. It's exciting to go to Kansas City and be in another U.S. City live crowd. Always more fun than, getting paid peanuts at the Apex. But it's a lot of research, buddy. You know how it is, right? And when I saw 14, I'm like, oh, boy. Like, it gets tough to do everyone justice when you got to do 14 fighters. Fighter meetings will be long. The research will be long. But the main card is pretty stacked. A lot of exciting fights this weekend, actually.
Well, remember when we did London, there was 15. And the thing is, a lot of the time these days, for whatever reason, it starts off at 15 and it gets whittled down to 14, to 13, to 12. Sometimes there's 11 fights, because people miss weight, people get sick, whatever the situation is, it often deteriorates. And it's always annoying when I'm doing my research for a fight card. And I've just gone in depth on this. Is the second fight on the prelims. I'm not familiar with them. I'm
going to really dive in.
I've read articles about them. I've watched their fights. I've taken notes. And then I get a text from Zach. oh yeah, that fight's off. I'm like,
yep.
Ah!
And it's always that fight. It's never like, I'm with you. I don't think I've ever actually been doing research for a fighter or haven't done research and they're like, oh, these 2 fights fell off and it was somewhere on the card that I hadn't gotten to yet. Because a lot of times it just always seems to be, oh, I literally just watched their fights.
Yes.
And then as it's still on my computer, Zach or Lappy or whoever it is text you, it's like, yeah, that fight's scrap. Now, as much as we complain, we know that they have a bitch of a time when those fights fall off for them. They've got to reprogram the whole structure of the show. So I guess we can't complain too much.
We could say that it's money in the bank, for next time, because I take home the notes.
Yeah, it's true.
The next time they fight. True. And it kind of is. But even still, I still have to go and watch their fights again. I typically do.
Remember? I don't remember like that.
I do a play-by-play of every fight in the notes of my phone. But even still, I have it there, but I've still got to watch it. I still want to, see how I feel about their performance and stuff like that.
I feel like everyone thinks I'm the most like organized of some of the crew. I am probably the most disorganized fight researcher that is on our team, other than maybe Joe, who's got a recall like crazy, right? He just remembers shit. Other than that, I am the worst. I redo the notes every time. Half the time I'm just scribbling them on the attribute sheet right next to it. It's how I was as a kid too. Like when it came to school and shit, I was the worst note taker in history.
I was going to say I'll take the Pepsi challenge on that, to be fair, but it's nothing to be proud of. I take a lot of notes, but I have to because I don't remember anything. But we were talking off air. When there's 15 fights or 14 fights this weekend, sometimes there's not an interview after the fight. Yeah. And because, sometimes maybe they expected fights to fall off. Maybe they didn't realize there's going to be 15 or whatever it is. And they've only got a certain amount of time. And if they all go to decisions, then obviously that's eating into the broadcast time.
Yep.
And they've got to get through all the shows. So they'll be like, no interview for this one. And sometimes people message me and think, oh, you. And think we're making that decision.
Yeah, come on. It's a broadcast going on there. It's an entire broadcast. We can't, you think I have the power to go, you know what?
Nah,
not this guy. Not this guy. He shit the bed out there. And dude, even think about it. If there's like a nut shot or an eye poke or a foul and that fight then runs over time, even if there's a finish in the third round, if that fight is pushed to the limit, and we only have one more fight before we're supposed to start the main card, especially somewhere like Kansas City or somewhere like a pay-per-view where it's going to switch from one program to another program, if it's on a network and then it's going to Fight Pass or vice versa, there's a lot more that goes into it. And, I wish I could say I had that kind of pull to just not interview people. But I'd probably interview everybody because I'd feel freaking bad.
Yeah. So. Oh, if it was my choice, I would. Well, speaking of that, let's just quickly run through the card. Obviously, Ian Garry taking on Carlos Prates. They've been talking a bit of shit. I don't know if you saw this. Ian Garry calls Prates a quitter. Prates came back and was like, screw you. He said, I've only been in the UFC for 2 minutes. I've already had 2 main events. You've been in for 4 years. And this is your first ever main event. So things are getting a little spicy there.
Interesting. Yeah.
You can't make a prediction though, Paul.
No.
God damn.
But I've been seeing back and forth. I've been seeing a lot of people, this is a big step up for Carlos Prates, who's been nothing but exciting, who's been devastating in there. But this is a guy who's faced the elite, who's been in the UFC for a while, who's kind of gotten over any hurdles other than pretty much Shavkat. And again, I think he impressed people even in that loss with his performance there. So I do think that this is by far the biggest challenge that Prates is going to have thus far and the toughest fight, no doubt about it.
Yes, I agree. I do agree with that. I can make a prediction though. And I think Prates walks away with it, to be honest. I think Prates gets it done. I think he gets another stoppage.
You think he finishes him?
Well, the thing is with Ian Garry,
if he engages him, right? Do you think he's going to engage him like that?
I don't think he's going to engage. No, I think he's going to be smart. And he's going to fight it or approach it like he did with Jeff Neal. You know, he'll use his footwork, he'll use his reach, he'll dance around, he'll frustrate the audience because they want to see blood, they want to see violence. And I think Ian's going to try and be smart. But I think Carlos Prates, I mean, they've got one opponent in common, I think. Neil Magny.
Yep.
Ian beat him by decision.
How that went. Yeah.
Carlos knocked him out in the first round. MMA math doesn't stack up, but most people are getting finished by Carlos Prates, you know, and I think he'll catch him. I think throughout 25 minutes, I think there'll be a situation where he cuts off the cage, backs him up, and I think he'll catch him. Hey, I might be wrong. If Ian Garry wins, I've got it by a decision. It's not a knock on Ian Garry. It's not a knock on Ian Garry. I think he's a tremendously talented fighter, but I'm just very, very high on Carlos Prates.
Yeah, I mean, and how can you not be with what he's put out there so far in the UFC? I mean, just when you think, okay, this guy might test him a little bit, this guy might test him. I mean, Neil Magny, I was pretty sure that Prates was going to win that one, but I thought Neil might be able to drag it on a little bit, might be able to test that cardio, and even he couldn't do it, couldn't use that weapon that he has and have an endurance. But that is something I will say, as much as I'd love to see an early finish from Prates or Ian Garry, whichever way it goes, I do want to see Carlos Prates get kind of pulled later into those rounds because we got to know, right? I don't know. Hopefully Ian Garry is the guy to do that because I do want to see what third and fourth round are going to look like for a guy, and I hate to bring it up again, but a guy who smokes cigarettes.
Yep. I mean, listen, I know lots of fighters that shall remain nameless that I trained with that were champions that were from America but trained in Liverpool. That weren't white guys.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Cigarettes, and he had a championship career. No names at all. But yeah, you are correct. That will be interesting to see. All right, today's episode is sponsored by Manscaped. You know the deal with Manscaped. They're all about shaving your balls downstairs, but doing it in the safe way. And did you know that one man every hour, every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer? In fact, April is National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, and Manscaped have partnered with them, and they are putting their money where their mouth is by donating $50,000 to the Testicular Cancer Society to help save lives and promote routine checks, which really is something that you should be doing. And by the way, we have a great offer for you. All those people that want to get in on the action and the offer, go to manscaped.com, use the code BELIEVE. You're going to get 20% off and you're going to get free shipping at manscaped.com. Now, let's talk about the special edition LM 5.0 Ultra. First up in this bundle, you have the special edition TCS Lawnmower 5.0, rocking a brand new purple design. The trimmer is both cordless and waterproof, making trimming a breeze, and you can do it in the shower if that's where you want to trim your balls. And here's where things get interesting. It's got a powerful LED light. You can shave with confidence, navigating through those tricky regions. Also, you get the special edition TCS Boxers 2.0, comfort like no other. But the real game changer is the dual pouch design, a dedicated spacecraft to cradle and support with breathable, perforated fabric, anti-chafing, smooth, flat lock seams, and the waistband hugs your body without digging in. So, Manscaped, these are trusted. These have been known for a very, very long time now. They're great products and they support a great cause. So, take advantage of this great offer. Get 20% off when you go to manscaped.com. Use the code BELIEVE. You get 20% off plus free shipping. Manscaped.com, code is BELIEVE, 20% off plus free shipping. Support the show and support a great cause. Also, Anthony Smith's retirement fight in his hometown versus Zhang Ming Yang. Tough fight for Anthony. I wish him nothing but the best. And I truly mean that. You know, there was this crazy narrative and a bit of bullshit and maybe a bit of miscommunication. We've been through all that before, but Anthony's a really good guy. The last time I texted him, I said, listen, never mind the podcast or whatever. You're a great person. You're an amazing father. You're a good husband. And that's all that matters in life. I said, I wish you nothing but the best and success. And I truly mean that this weekend against Zhang Ming Yang. I think technically Anthony's probably a better fighter. I think he's got the ability on the ground to cause real problems. Mm-hmm. Zhang Ming Yang is a beast, though. He's been knocking out everyone in the first round for the last 10 fights or something like that. but he has lost via submission.
Right. But that's the scary part for Anthony, right? I mean, he knows that. Everyone knows that. His chin has been checked a couple times. This is the last fight. I think it's really just going to be important for him to have a clean approach, because we know when shit goes south and things get crazy in there, Anthony can survive there, right? So he needs to figure out, how am I going to get this into a position where ultimately I'm put, on the right foot and that I can get this job done. And I think using your damn jiu-jitsu, he's slick as shit on the ground. And more often than not, we don't really get to see it because he's not afraid to knuckle up with dudes. He loves a good dogfight out there. But sometimes with these big, powerful, younger guys, you get caught with something. So I do hope to see him bust that out when need be. And it'd be cool. It'll be a cool experience too, because if he does pull the W, I'm doing the interviews this coming weekend. So
nice.
I'll be able to be there for that. Yeah. So
tell him congrats for me if you get the job done. And all the BYM believers. Here's the thing though. So I'm looking at his record here. So he took Khalil Roundtree on short notice, didn't get the job done. Then he took Vito Petrino on short notice, won by guillotine. Ended up fighting Roman Dolidze on short notice. Okay, didn't get the job done. And then he fought Dominic Reyes. That wasn't short notice, but he went through a lot of personal.
A lot of extra stuff on the table.
Yeah.
So, what's he going to look like with a full camp, right? I mean, dialed in.
Yeah. But here's the thing, and this isn't necessarily about Anthony. This is just about us as human beings, as fighters, as people. Like, I would assume that Anthony's going to go out there and work his ass off and ensure he's in the best possible shape. Anthony in great shape. If you think back to that fight he had with Glover Teixeira, even though he lost, I was so impressed with that performance. He looked so good early. I'll never forget Glover's knocking his teeth out and he's like, I'm sorry, brother. And Anthony's like, it is what it is, and hands the ref his teeth and stuff. It made me a fan for life. I already was. But when you know it's your last fight, I just wonder, is there a barrier to really, really pushing yourself? When you know you're going to call it a day, I don't know. I was never in that situation.
Yeah, and I wasn't either, right? There was lots of talks of a retirement fight and having that one more, but you're right. It's a tough situation to be in because a lot of times we don't know it's going to be our last fight, right? The decision is usually made afterwards, whether it's injuries, whether it's just like, I don't think I should do this anymore. Very rarely do you get a successful, this is my last one, I'm going to ride off. And I think a lot of it is knowing like, okay, I'm training for just this one. You want to make it a big statement, but also the nerves that go into that have got to be out of this world, right? Knowing that this is what you want your lasting statement to be, basically, for your career, even though it shouldn't be, right? It shouldn't be your lasting memory of what everyone thinks. Should be all your success and your battles and all that. But ultimately, you're saying, hey, this is what I'm sending off, my final message to you. I think that's one of the things that's always made me nervous when I was really thinking about it was, what if I go out and I'm not the same? What if I go out there and I shit the bed? But that's different for me because I had retired, then I would have been coming back. Whereas Anthony, at least he's still been in it and he's still been a fighter the whole time. He's just deciding this is the last one I'm going to do. Cub Swanson, if he had retired after that last fight, he had what a knockout that would go off of. But then it makes you not sure. I wonder, we'll see if Anthony does get a big win. Is it the last one?
That's what I was going to say, because, he goes out there, let's say he has killed it in training camp, and I'm sure he has. And again, we wish him nothing but the best of luck. Let's say he goes out there, he looks phenomenal. He destroys this guy, makes it look easy, and he's like, hold on a minute. I'm back, baby. I've still got this shit. And you know what? I didn't even train that hard in camp, and I still destroyed him. Right? I'm going to stick around for a couple more. There's always that temptation. And that's why this sport is such a mother effer. It's really
so hard.
is.
It's so hard to let go. It's so hard when you've made that walk and there's a crazy crowd and you fought the best people and there's money and there's fame with it. And it's just an adrenaline rush like nobody could ever understand until you've done it. To let it go is...
hard, man. It's hard. Let's ask Anthony and Brian. Let's throw it to the panel. I can't imagine you're going to say anything else, but who wins this weekend? Anthony Lionheart Smith or Zhang Mingyang?
I imagine you meant Harrington and not Anthony, but
did I really? Anthony on the mind.
I get it, man. I'm putting money down on Anthony one more time.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, look, isn't this guy have 19 first round? I was just trying to look up how many of his wins are in the first round because I know he has quite a lot of knockouts. But I remember when I looked this up, right when this fight got booked, he doesn't have much by way of second, third round knockouts or 3 or 5 round decisions. So it's a thing where it's like, do I think Anthony can survive 5 minutes with this dude and then use veteran savvy to gut out a win in basically his backyard? Yeah, of course I do. I just watched him fight Vitor Petrino, who's a guy who was supposed to beat him. He was like a minus 600 favorite against Anthony Smith. Took him out in the first round with a guillotine. So yeah, I definitely see the path for it. I like Anthony Smith by a 3-round decision.
Okie dokie. This guy, you got to think for Anthony as well. He was a little not bummed out with the matchup, but it's like you would think maybe in his mind someone with a little more name, relevance in the division that's at the end of the game. They're also close to retirement, but this is just a sport. This is what happens. You were then turned into an opportunity for a member of the next generation. Or you're big enough to say, nah, man, you got more work to do, kid.
Yeah, not today. And you know what? Or you can think of it too, like, since he's not a massive star, they could be saying, listen, you, Anthony, with the name that you have, you've fought for the belt. You've been in the top of the division for how many years now? They can't just give you either somebody that, you know what I mean? They can't give you a layup. So why not give you somebody that's still on the come up, who hasn't really maybe been tested by a savvy vet like you? So it's like, look, you're kind of along what you said, though, where it's like, look, you can beat this guy if you show up ready to go. And similar to what Harrington said, the guy's not known for having big wins past that first round. He knows what he's in for. He's going to have a guy coming out to take his head off early in the fight, survive that, and you should be able to take this guy out.
And also, you got to remember on the flip side, the UFC might be looking at Zhang Mingyang. Obviously, China is a tremendous 100%. Market for them. He's in his last 10 fights, they're all wins, and they're all in the first round. Yes, he's got some losses, but he's still a young man, and they were early in his career. So they're potentially looking at this guy. He does have a personality as well. He speaks Chinese, obviously, but he was screaming into a microphone. He's got China behind him. He's got the knockout power. He's on a 10-fight win streak. So yeah, it's both ways, because he knocks out Anthony Smith. All of a sudden, Monday morning, people are like, oh, who's this Chinese kid? Harrington, how can I help you, sir?
Sorry, I for my own edification, I had to look it up. This dude has never won a fight that has left the first round.
Wow.
All or nothing, baby.
All or nothing.
In my bag.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're right, though. Like, they're always looking at it like that. They're always looking to stack the odds in their favor, right, in these kind of moments when you think about a promotion, right? Obviously, if he wins, new young kid, this up-and-coming kid knocking everybody out from China. If Anthony wins, what a salute. Took out this young up-and-coming kid. You know what I mean? So, how old is he? I keep calling him a kid. He's probably not a kid. But he can't be.
I can tell you right now, I'm looking at it. He is 26 years old. So he's still a young man.
He still is a kid. Yeah, that's young.
Also, Michelle Pereira versus
dude, that's crazy.
Randy Brown, Nicholas Dolby, and Ikram Aliskerov making up the main card. It's going to be a good one. Might do a little live stream. I'm not sure. However,
good main card. I like it.
It's a good card. It is, yeah. Undercard, Matt Schnell, John Castaneda, Chris Gutierrez. He's always fun to watch. I think the big news, though, I didn't see this one announced anywhere. I'm talking about Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev. These guys are going back and forth online. I think it was rumored or known in certain circles that they were going to fight at UFC 317, International Fight Week. Dricus Du Plessis got an injury. Don't know what that is yet. I was looking online. Typically, certain handles on Twitter, if you follow them, they get all the info. They get all the nitty gritty. I haven't seen what the injury is, but he's out. Khamzat Chimaev has been talking shit. Dricus du Plessis has been talking shit. They're going back and forth. Caio Borralho has stepped up, said, "I'll fight Khamzat. Let's make it for an interim strap." He says, "Yeah." Khamzat says to Caio, "If we fight 100 times, fight 100 times, you will never win."
Somebody knows you. They know that, bro. Wow.
Yeah. Caio says, "Well, why don't you sign the contract?"
Sign the damn contract, man. That's the best response you can get. Hey, how about we find out for real? How about we find out for real? I like this fight. If this fight does end up happening, man, hey, who did a few of us, I think, maybe two of us, I think you went Gene Silva, right? I think I said Caio Borralho could be potentially the first guy from Fighting Nerds. Come on.
Well, come on. Hold on a minute. If he wins that, if he does beat Khamzat Chimaev, and by the way, there's footage of them training, and it shows Khamzat choking him up. Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, I'm going to say from that training that I saw, apparently Caio had gone there to be a training partner, was replicating his opponent's style.
Yeah, it's never fair to take that and be like, oh, look, it's like, you know how many times I've gotten caught in a choke in training sessions? And
but you're letting.
What if he started on his back? You know, how many times do we do that? It's like, okay, we're going to do 2.5 minutes. The guy's starting on your back each time. Then you start on their back. It's like the chances of success are amplified like crazy.
Yeah, but it also looked like Caio was just letting him kind of drill certain moves. Yeah. And then sometimes in training, you know, we used to start with the rear naked choke locked in.
Yeah, and fight out of it.
Yeah, fight out of the rear naked choke. No. You know, and if you've got a total dickhead who's just like, it's like, bro.
Yeah, as hard as they can.
Sean
Brady.
And grab the hands, your bell end. Yes, if you put, and then we do the same drills where you're in an arm bar. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. Go, that's never a good one. I've done it. It too. And it's just like, this is just begging for somebody's elbow or shoulder to just get shredded to bits. But the training stuff is always,
guys.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put you in an arm bar, and the drill is don't tap, try and escape.
Try to get out of it.
But anyway, no, the question I was going to say is, number one, well, they're talking about it being for an interim title.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess that was me assuming it would be. That would be silly. I don't think it needs to be. But if they wanted to headline anything, that's where it becomes tough.
Did we do this recently? Because International Fight Week's around the corner. We thought it was going to be Tom and John. I'm kind of over talking about that at this point. Then we thought it'd be Dricus versus Khamzat. That looks like it's off the table. Caio Borralho versus Khamzat. That'd be an amazing addition to the card.
Amazing to a card. I just don't, and I'm okay with it being a 5-round like co-main event. The winner is obviously the one that gets to fight Dricus for the belt, but I don't know.
And just
depends
for the record,
I guess it depends on I still don't know if that's a main event for that particular weekend.
First of all, no need for an interim strap. Maybe they do it, you know, who knows? Maybe they want to make it look a little sexier and jazzier or whatever. But my choice would be, I don't think it needs it. Dricus just fought in February, Feb 1st. He was going to fight here and he's got an injury. Now, granted, not all injuries are the same. If it's going to be
that's what I was going to say.
6 months, 9 months, a year, then we're back into the Tom Aspinall, John Jones situation. So,
yeah.
All right, this episode is sponsored by Rocket Money. That is going to make it easy for you to track all of the subscriptions that you've subscribed to and cancel them. Listen, in this modern day and age with your phone and the App Store and all the rest of it, you're always signing up to things left, right, and center. And before you know it, you've signed up to a bunch of stuff that you don't need, you don't use, and you're not even aware of anymore. With Rocket Money, you can see all your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going. For ones you don't want anymore, Rocket Money helps you cancel them. It's simple as that. Rocket Money's dashboard gives you a clear view of all your expenses across your accounts. And if you want to cancel it, you just press Cancel. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Get alerts if bills increase in price, there's unusual spending activity, or if you're close to going over budget. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when they use all the app's premium features. As I said, you will be blown away. When you use Rocket Money, you're going to see it all there. You're going to be quite shocked, and you're going to cancel a lot. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/believe today. That is rocketmoney.com/believe. Speaking of which, Tom Aspinall did a little video recently, and he said he's got news. He's been sworn to. This is like, tell us the fight's been booked without telling us the fight's been booked.
I know.
Got the video there.
The video has been removed.
Oh,
has it really?
Oh, shit!
He got it.
Shit! No,
got a slap on the wrist for that one. It's like, dude, when we told you to swear into secrecy, don't say anything.
I've got news, but I can't say what it is. I'm not saying anything, but we've got news. I mean, well, the only news. Oh God, he's got it.
I found somebody.
We got it. Oh, it's never gone. You know that.
It's fight news. I know everyone wants fight news, but I do know what's happening. I have had meetings with the UFC, as we know. I have been sworn to secrecy for a little bit. So stay tuned, stay up with the channels, stay up with the UFC channels, of course, as always, as you guys always do. But there will be news coming, hopefully, very, very soon. But if you're going to ask me, I can't give the answer right now. But stay tuned. It's coming. It's coming.
Because they always say, listen, don't say anything, especially a fight like that. Because they want to announce it with a press conference, with the world's media there. They want to make a big pop. But let's be honest, it's not exactly breaking. It's not, whoa. It hasn't come out of left field, has it?
We know it's been working. It's been in the works for a long damn time now. We've been talking on it for how many episodes now?
Jesus Christ. Can they just
come on, give us some freaking news already on this. Let's get it done. I want to know. I guess
the only question would be when. It might be International Fight Week now. You never know.
Hey, you know what, Mike? That's a good point, dude, because think about it. This fight just fell off. Now they really need something to sit in there. And that might have just been the what's the word I'm looking for?
Screw it. Throw John an extra $1 million, get him on the card.
Yeah.
You never know.
Get him in. Who knows?
Doesn't he want something stupid like 50 million?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he just got 40 then.
Yeah, he's getting paid very well.
My God, dude, they're going to get paid. I mean, well, the crazy thing is that Tom is doing this for whatever he's under contract for a title fight, for whatever it might be, which I'm sure he's getting paid extremely well at this point. But that's what I love about it too. Is like, everyone's talking about the money. The main money is obviously going to be for John Jones. That's really the big issue, is what he wants, because Tom's negotiating power doesn't really get anything until he beats somebody like John Jones. And that's why he wants it. He knows that everything lies on this particular fight. If he can go out there and he beats friggin' John Jones, then, I mean, the world is his as far as heavyweight champ.
Yeah, then you are officially, without a shadow of a doubt, the baddest man on the planet. Simple as that. And everyone will have to accept that. I think that already. I mean, I've said many times, and it's no disrespect to John Jones. I think he's phenomenal as a fighter. I think he's incredible. He's a force of nature. I'll even say he's a once-in-a-generation talent. But there's another generation coming through now. You know, that's the only thing.
Studying guys like you your entire career.
Yes,
that's what makes it so interesting when you get to this point. It's like, once you've had that many fights in the UFC, people have been watching you since you debuted, and they were kids, and now they're elite athletes, and they've been, you know, trying to mimic you for years. Well, Tom's not same style as John, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's just like hours and hours and hours and hours of footage, you know. So anyway, we literally have spoke about that one. Harrington, until the cows come home. Jump on, buddy. What else is going on in the world of MMA, mixed martial arts?
All right, let's see.
What's going on in your world, Paul? Should we say? What are you doing? Yeah.
Oh, dude. Oh, hanging out with the kids, riding my bike.
But that's
making sure mom's good. By the way, everybody, mom is doing much better. I know you guys know a little bit that we had a few dicey days, but things are definitely on the up. She's rehabbing. She's getting her strength back. Like she's on the floor in the hospital where they just rehabilitate you and get you back. She's just not, dude. She's so old school. Like she doesn't eat or drink. I don't know if your parents are at all like this. Like getting her to drink a glass of water in a day is like pulling teeth.
Oh, mate, I think I've said this on the show, but my dad, he doesn't drink. Jump off, Harrington. He doesn't drink water ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Same.
And like his face looks like sandpaper. I'm like, please. It's like you got to rub a bit of lotion in that. It just looks like so dry. You know,
drink water, fish shit in it.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm like, Dad, just drink some water. Like when he stays here, he's been over for a while. I'm like, Dad, have a drink of water. He's like, nah, Mark, the first ingredient of whiskey
is water.
Yeah. The first ingredient of Coke, water. And I'm like, all right, I don't think it quite works like that, Dad.
Yeah. My mom thought her hydration, she was telling us how much she was drinking in a day, and she's over exaggerating. Finally, we're like, well, what are you drinking then? And the one thing she mentioned was soup, but not like chicken broth, like a cup of soup and a milkshake at one point. I'm like, Mom, I know they're liquid forms of things, but they don't count towards your hydration for the day. You can't do that. So
especially if the soup's out of a can, you know.
Yeah, like it's just not the same. So yeah, we went to her room on Easter and brought the kids, and they allowed us special treatment to get more people in. So the whole family's there. My brothers were there. The kids were there. Christine was there. So it was good.
All right. Should we get a non-MMA story from Harrington?
Yes.
Harrington, join the show. What have you got on the docket?
Oh, in the world of non-MMA, we got some rough stuff here. How about this one? Ozempic apparently has a really nasty side effect. People have noticed it in some celebrities. Apparently, feet are just getting gnarled like crazy as a side effect of this drug. There is some pictures in the look at that.
Yeah, that looks like my feet.
Man. Yeah, that's a hobbit foot right there.
And I have not been crushing the Ozempic. Hobbit feet. When he said there was side effects, I was like, what's that? Starving to death, brittle bones. Apparently people are shitting their guts out as well.
Yep.
It's like killing people's lower intestines.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and you see it all over the place now being advertised like absolute crazy.
Every commercial, dude.
Every commercial on TV for one version or another. There's a few versions now. What happened to it's okay to be fat? You know, what happened to that? What happened
That's what I was going to bring up.
Embrace being fat, guys. Fat is healthy. And now it's like, no, take these drugs to be skinny.
Turns out they weren't for fat acceptance. They were just lazy.
They were just lazy. I love that you brought that up because that's exactly what I was just going to say. It was guys like us who like to work out and train. That's toxic masculinity. That's this, that's that. Or, you're fat shaming people because you're promoting a healthy lifestyle and all this. And people were, oh no, look at me. I'm beautiful. And guess what? Nothing wrong. I don't care. Everyone's going to be different. Everyone's workout routine is going to be different. But the second it became easy to get really skinny and really fit, there's nothing wrong with that though, right? Now I want to be skinny and fit because I don't have to go to the gym. Yes. Okay. All right. I just wanted to be clear that we knew that you were full of shit. Thanks.
Yeah. No, they just confirmed it right there. Number one, if you're a little heavy, it's okay. It's all right. There is no shame, but we are all different. But I go to the gym, yes, because I want to stay in shape. B, because I really, really enjoy it. I love the way that I feel afterwards. It's de-stresses me so much. I just feel like a new man when I come out of the gym. The endorphins are flying. I feel fantastic. It sets me up for a great day. So I don't think, okay, if you're like really heavy, and I mean really heavy, where it's unhealthy, then I guess it can be great, because all it does is just give you the discipline, or removes the need for discipline.
Yeah.
Stops you being a greedy bastard.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I feel like people that are really into working out and going to the gym and having that routine, being in shape and having a physique is a byproduct of that. I think what people, the problem people have with starting to go to the gym and wanting to become that fit person is that you're only doing it because you want to have a certain image or you want to look better. If you can actually start to fall in love with the process of working out or training or working hard and finding something that you enjoy doing in that way, you'll worry less about, I'm only doing this because I want to lose weight or look better. It's like, if you start to actually enjoy you will get those benefits because of going there. Because for me, I don't do it so that I can have abs or I can look good. I do it because I'm obsessed with it. And that's just who I am as a person. And luckily it comes easy to me, not to everyone.
I'm trying to have abs. I'm trying to have that body that I had when I was at the weigh-ins at UFC, whatever it was, in my 20s. I'm still trying to get that. I do enjoy the workout, but I do want to look good. But it is interesting though, because for a while, they had like all the lingerie models. They were all coming in plus sizes. They were forcing it down everyone's throat. Here, big is beautiful. No, it's not. Big is unhealthy. I saw a thing recently. Apparently, for your heart, I mean, there's many reasons why being healthy isn't good for your heart, but for every cell on your body, and of course, if you've got a ton of fat, it's all made up of individual cells in your body. A blood supply has to be sent to all of them. So your heart is pumping a ridiculous amount of times more to send and circulate the blood all around that obese body, so therefore by losing, I think if you just lose 5 pounds, it's like the equivalent of pumping 10 miles less an hour or something crazy like that. I forget what it was, so yeah. And then the cost of these drugs is absolutely phenomenal. It's through the absolute roof, but it's so funny because there's a few people that I know that are, they've always been a little challenged when it comes to the waistline, shall we say. A few people in my neighborhood, that love to eat, and all of a sudden they're dead skinny and they're telling me, we've just been killing the gym. I'm like, bullshit.
Yep.
You're on the Ozempic. Don't lie. Do not lie.
Yeah. You're paying for it, but you're going to pay the consequences too, because this shit's not good for you, man. There's nothing that is going to replace just eating better and training a bit. And, a lot of the times it's all the things you don't want to hear. Like I tell a lot of my friends that want to lose weight, I'm like, look, do as I say, not as I do, right? Because I train like crazy, but I don't less necessarily have to eat or not drink and do all that. And it's because I work out like crazy. That's not necessarily the healthiest way to live too. But if you really are trying to lose weight, you have to work out. You got to eat cleaner. And if you're really, really trying to drop pounds, you can't really drink. You can't really smoke a ton of pot and then get the munchies. Like you've got to become disciplined to get to a baseline where you're much better. And nobody wants to hear that. They all want, well, what else can I do? It's like, well, you could take Ozempic.
Yeah. So for me, obviously I was just in Mexico, hence the red face, got burned to a crisp.
I got burnt yesterday.
I've got a couple of movies coming up, and sadly, and it's causing a bit of anxiety, I got to have the shirt off, so I'm like, shit. So when I went to Mexico, this was the plan. This was the reset time. I'm going to go there. I'm going to have a blowout. And then I'm going to live like I was in training camp and try and do 2 sessions a day, really, really monitor the diet, still eat food, you know what I mean? But just restrict the calories and cut out, of course, the alcohol. Apparently, when you're drinking alcohol, obviously it's right before bed. It's excess sugars. It's excess calories right before you go to sleep. And then apparently it does something to your brain where your body stops the process. Apparently it's impossible to burn fat when it's processing alcohol. I don't know if that's true. I saw that on one of the many fitness
I'm sure it at least
pages
makes it more difficult. I'm sure it at least slows the process significantly, and there's no way it's got to burn that. That becomes priority. You're right. So, I mean, I would imagine digesting and processing the alcohol comes first and foremost, because it's your body dealing with poison, basically.
I don't think the Ozempic, though, is probably the fix that everyone thinks it's going to be. I don't think you can just keep sticking yourself. How does it? I mean, it affects a hormone in your body, I think, right? And which
it literally makes you not hungry. Yeah, it makes you not hungry. Imagine like if you're just walking around smoking cigarettes all day, drinking coffee, you probably wouldn't be too hungry either. It kind of gives you that I have no craving for food. So you'll probably eat enough to, obviously you have to eat enough to stay alive, or we'd be hearing more cases of that. But as far as just stuffing yourself and maybe eating a meal where you'd go overboard, eat a ton of French fries, have a bunch more to drink, you don't feel that desire.
Which is kind of handy. It does sound good. To be fair,
it's not going to drop weight like crazy. Yeah. But I mean, I'm seeing so many reports too, where it's just, and that's the thing. It's still relatively new, especially being used for this, because am I wrong? And maybe Brian Harrington can jump into, isn't it essentially a diabetic drug? Isn't that what it was originally developed for?
It started off for diabetics, yes, to try and get them to combat diabetics, because I think, because I'm reading a book at the moment called Outlive. It's very, very good. It's just a kind of a guide to living a longer, healthier, happier life. Apparently, according to this book, there's your lifespan and then your health span. And you want to have a long health span, because a lot of people might live long, but the last 10, 15, 20 years of their life aren't really worth living anyway. So you want to have a long health span where you're feeling good, you can still walk around, still live a long life. So I'm reading this book and it's all about that. And it's one chapter is all about diabetes. And basically, diabetes is just where you're taking on so much fat, your body doesn't know what to do with it anymore. And then it starts affecting other parts of your body, or other internal functions, like... I can't remember. It's a very complicated chapter, but something like that. Yeah. But anyway, so there we go. Ozempic, guys. If you see me next week and I'm like this, you know what I've been doing. I'll give it. Hey, if I'm in this movie, which I tried to get Felder in, by the way, but he couldn't do it, and I'm ripped, and I mean ripped, I might have given in.
I'll know once I see it. I'll know. I can pick out those physiques. I see you often enough. I see you often enough to know when you're hitting the gym to when I've been taking some Ozempic.
Yeah, but Paul, this is a new me now. This is a new me. I'm going to do 2 a days in the gym, living like a monk, 0 alcohol, Spartan diet.
I'll send you some gummies. You'll be able to have fun without needing alcohol, buddy.
No, exactly.
You live in California. You don't need my help.
Not those 100 milligram bad boys. All right, today's episode is sponsored by Shopify. And if you're sitting there, you're thinking of starting a business, or if you already have a business and you're not online, then you really are missing up on the opportunity to be selling to everybody all over the world. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses from around the world, and 10% of all e-commerce in the United States, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. As I say, if you've got an idea, you want to start it with Shopify. Get started with your own design studio. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. Accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. Also, you can get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into a reality with Shopify on your side. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period and start selling today at shopify.com/believe. Go to shopify.com/believe. Shopify.com/believe.
All right. Speaking of nasty side effects, Jake Paul on boxing. He has gotten a
Good
bout.
segue, Harrington. You get the trophy.
He's gotten a bout with a former champion. This time it's Julio Cesar Chavez, surprisingly not senior. He's taking on Junior, who is 39 years old and coming off a loss to Anderson Silva a few years ago. Bounced back with 2 wins, his latest against Uriah Hall just last June.
So here's the thing. Many times on this podcast, and we don't like to talk about Jake Paul. Or should I say fake Paul? Because I don't think he's a real fighter. He's a businessman, and fair play to him. I've made my point many, many times. But this is the first time for you, Paul. So take it away. What do you think? We haven't discussed this. But what do you think as a fighter, as the Irish Dragon, as somebody knows who's been through the blood, sweat, and tears? What do you make of this, Paul?
I think this is putting makeup on a pig is what I think this particular matchup is, right? Oh, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Oh, shit, that guy actually boxed. Yeah, and he's 39, and he did lose to Anderson Silva in a boxing match. And he beat Uriah Hall, a former UFC MMA fighter, in a boxing match recently. This guy is not an elite boxer anymore. I feel like he's always had issues with being committed and really breaking out from underneath his dad's name. So I think it's just the perfect cover to make it look like he's taking on some big challenge and some big scary boxer. Now, granted, I think this guy can present more problems than a lot of the guys he's been fighting in MMA, and Mike Tyson included, unfortunately, because he's almost 60. But when I saw it, I was in the car with the kids and Christine, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing here. I'm going to take on this guy, and it's going to look like I'm taking on some big bad boxer, but really, he's not been a serious contender for a long time.
No, and there's a lot of fights out there that he could take if he really wanted to be taken seriously. However, it's time for our special guest to join, organized by the one and only Paul Felder. We are joined by Ninjas or Butterflies.
Hey, boys. We're here. Thanks for having us.
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Very good.
Doing great. Can you guys hear us?
You get my headphones in because I could hear myself coming back.
Oh, is that what it is? So yeah, I've been telling Michael and these guys, because we'll get into a little bit of conspiracy and some fun, putting the tinfoil hat on, if you will, every now and then with these guys. And since we didn't have fights this past weekend, it was like, all right, this would be a good time. We previewed Kansas City coming up this week, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to kind of dive into what is the most recent stuff that you guys have been talking, because I always see all the clips that you guys got going on the Instagram. But one of the things I definitely wanted to talk about, if we're going to put on the hats, the Pope, RIP to the Pope himself.
Yeah.
But I know that there was some things I've been watching on the reels that you guys have been posting about how many popes have been predicted, and that we're nearing the end of that and what that means. So why don't you guys give us a little background on that particular conspiracy or predictions of the Vatican and
the prophecy
things
of the
like
Pope.
Yeah. So about 9 months ago, we talked about this thing called the prophecy of the popes. And it was this book that came out in
1100.
Yeah, 1100. And it basically, I forget the saint's name, but he was like the first Catholic of Ireland. But he wrote apparently every pope, that like a little catchphrase in Latin that would line up with each pope, and they were all like dead on. And apparently Pope Francis is going to be the last pope. Then after that, it just says the end.
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
And there's even actually like a little chapel that has like markers for every pope.
Yeah,
and the last one is Pope Francis, and then there's one last one, and it's all leading up to the year 2027 somehow. So that's our expiration date. So if you're curious,
the prophecy talks about Rome being on fire, and then it just says Judgment Day. And so the theory is that Pope Francis will be the last pope before Judgment Day, whether or not another pope comes into play or whatever. But the year that was thrown around by previous popes was the year 2027. So I don't know.
Getting close. We're We're getting close.
Getting close.
And just for even myself, I've been following you guys for a while now and loving the content, but how did this all start with you guys? And how long have you guys even been running the podcast? And have you all been friends leading up to this? I mean, I follow some of your Instagram stuff. So it seems like you guys were boys leading into this, or did you become friends? Like, what's your background real quick?
Yeah, a little bit of both. So we work for a company called Sunday Cool Tees.
Yeah.
And we just print t-shirts for churches, youth groups, companies, whatever. And I used to do skits for like youth groups and like for the church and whatnot. And I've always loved conspiracy theories. And so one day we just decided to start a podcast. That was September will be 3 years that we've been doing it. So
yeah, we're all just always throwing around conspiracies or just crazy stories. And it's just the stuff that you guys talk about, I'm sure. But we're just like, man, we could probably just make a podcast out of this. And thank goodness people watch it.
Yeah, it's like the break room conversation became the main thing that we're doing. And so the conversations were happening long before the podcast started. And so we got the gear and we were like, let's turn it on and see if people like it. And the fans have blown us away.
Yeah, we're the most uneducated people to be talking about this stuff too.
And I said that. I was like, you know what? These guys are pretty transparent about like, hey, I'm not a scientist. I'm not somebody that's a former military guy in the CIA and all this and has some secret ops. This is the crazy shit I'm hearing and I'm going to talk about.
Did you guys see Douglas Murray on Joe Rogan, though? He has a big problem with people saying, did you guys see this?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
All right. Yeah. So he was on Joe Rogan and he was discussing, all the conflict in the Middle East. And Joe Rogan and Dave Smith, he was debating them, and he was giving him a hard time because their get out of jail free card was, well, I'm just a comedian. And listen, everyone's free to discuss whatever they want, but that just kind of popped in my mind there. Congrats on what you're doing, guys, because it's what have you got, like 1.5 million subscribers on your YouTube channel?
Yeah,
Paul Felder
crazy.
Currently wearing the merch as we speak. He's a big fan. I wanted to ask you, one conspiracy that's doing the rounds right now is this Blue Origin. Right? You know when Katy Perry and everyone went up to space?
Yeah.
What's the deal there, guys? What's going on? Was that a lot of bullshit or what?
Well, you're not just jealous you didn't get an invite from Katy, right, Michael?
I'm devastated.
Okay, that's what I figured. It's not a little jealousy, but
No, I mean, I think they really went up because I saw that. You remember the dude that did the Red Bull dude that did the skydive from the balloon?
Yeah. So they're not actually going out past a certain point, right?
Yeah, he was higher than they went. So like they weren't like in space. They're like
it was literally
right on the edge. Yeah.
So you can orbit, right? You can kind of there's lesser gravity and stuff like that, but you're still not breaking past like a certain barrier where you're actually out in the outer space. Like, where is the space station in places like that? Are they past where they went then?
Oh yeah. By
big time. It's like
a couple hundred miles.
More than double. Yeah.
Oh,
but I do like the conspiracy though a little bit, just because one, they weren't even wearing any safety equipment.
Not even a helmet.
Not even a helmet. They weren't. I mean, the capsule itself was as pristine as it was when it took off. And so, and you've seen comparisons where other ones are completely.
What's up with the door though? Something happened with the door here where they're saying this is not. They shouldn't be able to open that from the inside, correct?
I saw a video of them inside of it, and there is a handle to open it from the inside. So it was just a bunch of
probably a photo
all for show,
probably a photo op kind of thing. Like they wanted Jeff to be the hero and with the big old key.
Yeah.
After he ate it.
So in all your time of running the podcast and talking about conspiracies, I'm not really a big conspiracy guy. Although Brian, our producer, who you've been talking to, who's in the background, he loves a conspiracy. And sometimes we do a little segment called Conspiracy Corner. What would be the biggest one that you think would be shocking to people that don't follow your podcast? Just give us a conspiracy for us, like something that's going to blow our minds that you think has a very good chance of being true.
Oh man,
that's pressure. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, it is pressure. So I'll preface this. A lot of our conspiracies, so we're all Christians, and we relate a lot of stuff back to like what we see in scripture and all that stuff. And we like to talk about giants like a whole lot, like the Nephilim. I don't know if you know too much about that.
I've seen you guys talk a lot about the skeletons and stuff that have kind of been found and then hidden and things like that.
Yeah. So I think our favorite conspiracy theory is that the history of the world as we know it is not correct, and that there's a lot of stuff left out, including civilizations that existed pre-flood that were more advanced than we are now. And that stuff that's happening now.
What about Egypt then?
Yeah, I think the pyramids existed before the Egyptians got there.
I mean, there's just
don't quote me on that.
Don't cancel me. But I think there's a lot of what I get hung up on is that we have stories of aliens, giants, star people, dragons, all of this really weird supernatural stuff. It's always weird to claim that you believe in. All of that stuff has been written down by cultures who never had contact with one another. This is before internet. This is before phones. All of these cultures had the exact same story. And if you were brought to bring that before in a courtroom, a jury would say, yeah, there's something here. And so I think the fact that we just blow it off and act like it's not a big deal, like you say, something that's really could be true, I think that's it. I think that's not what the government would want you to know. I don't think they would want you to think about these supernatural things that are a reality. I think they have a lot more power if they can control that information.
Yeah. And for me, I was a skeptic. I came on, I was the guy primarily editing the show. And as I sat here for the last 3 years, I'm like, and, doing research to find supplemental clips or stuff. And next thing you know, I'm not editing. I'm like actually researching this stuff and referring to giants. Like you look at things like a lot of them had 6 fingers, and you'll find cave drawings with giant 6-fingered hands and stuff all the way across the world where they'll have the exact same depictions, and it starts to mess with your head.
Can I ask a question now? When I ask this, I'm really, really trying to, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but wouldn't that go against everything, all the teachings of the Bible?
How so? How do you mean?
Well, because God created man and this and that. And, I'm not a religious dude, but if there's giants walking around once upon a time, does that not go against the
it actually validates
of the
Bible?
Yeah. So when you first get the reference of giants in the Bible, it talks about the fallen angels coming to earth. So the great rebellion happened. And so these fallen angels came to earth, and they slept with the women of earth, and they produced the Nephilim, or giants. And that's where
Genesis chapter 6.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I haven't read it clearly. Okay. Well, that shoots me down.
That's a great question, though.
Along that, guys, too. But being somebody that's Christian and sees the different scriptures and all these kind of stories that have been out there. Like I grew up Catholic. Don't you agree, though, that the kind of premise and the way that people think of religion, don't you think that maybe there's more to it than is even written in that because of these stories and because of this stuff? Do you think that, like, basically we're talking about the Catholic Church, right? And how structured they are with things and how kind of there's a hierarchy to all of it. So you guys you're not Catholic then?
No.
Right, you're Christians, which is completely different.
Good old Martin Luther Protestants.
Yeah. But you know what I mean?
Like, let's go.
Does that ever, when we talk of aliens, though, right? As somebody of faith, do you ever wonder, like, well, then what is that? If we're talking about aliens, or is that just when people wrote down fallen angels and stuff? Do you think that that's maybe what they were referencing? And what do you guys think about aliens more importantly then? And how does that kind of come into this whole picture if we're thinking of it like there is a God and then there's aliens, and like that's what blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, you could get weird and say that the Bible does describe what we would call UFOs.
Yeah.
And that's in the book of Ezekiel. It talks about the angels, how they traveled. It was a wheel within a wheel, and the rims of the wheel, it says, looked like eyes. And so like you could equate that to a flying orb that had lights on it, like, because they didn't know how to describe a UFO. They're like, it's a wheel within a wheel with eyes on it. And that whole alien thing, that's a really tricky one. But
that's the great thing about the Bible is that it's full of these supernatural things. But so often we just like to tell the fun little Bible stories that make us feel good, that we teach children. But in reality, we have people basically teleporting. We have mentions of dragons. We have giants. We have all this wild stuff. And and
people typically associate like heavenly creatures with just angels. So it's like really like Brad Pitt's with like wings, But you have like the seraphim, which describes as like a 4-headed creature with 6 wings and eyeballs all over the wings, and like that's
not pretty. Yeah.
No, terrifying image. And so like when you see aliens, what like that could be in this realm of heavenly creatures or whatever.
And it'll start to expand the way you think when you look at like abduction stories and overlay them with like possession stories. And you get accounts where people will say things like, in the name of Jesus, leave, and abduction ends. And you have to start asking yourself, what are we calling aliens?
Demonic? Yeah.
Right. So, and these are questions, not necessarily answers, but it'll start to mess with your
uneducated
head.
We are.
Yeah, no, of course. And I'm not trying to sit here and debate about Christianity and the Bible and stuff like that with you. But I do have one question, and it's a very serious one. Is the earth round or flat?
Obviously, it's flat, Michael. Come on.
Oh, come on.
No, it's definitely round. But I will say, I talk about it on the podcast, but for 2 weeks of my life, I believe that the earth was flat and my life was ruined.
Bro,
why?
I got to be honest. I must admit, when that first came across my radar years ago, I was definitely the guy that was out at the bar with my friend and my brother and some people, and I'd be like, I mean, why is it round then? Can you tell me why it's round? And they'd be like, oh, come on, Paul, you're going to believe in this flat earth shit? And I'm like, no. But
just tell me why.
It makes me realize my own ignorance, right? We believe these things because somebody told me these things. So it's like, I can't exactly tell you scientifically why the earth is round. Now, granted, I believe the earth is round, but back then when I was kind of messing around with it, I would just mess with people. They were like, well, then you tell me, how do you know?
Yeah.
Well, my brother-in-law, who's a pilot, I asked him and I said, and he said, because I've seen it. I've seen it. I've got up high enough. I know it's round. A lot of UFC fighters are jumping onto the earth is flat bandwagon.
We do get hit. We do get hit in the head. So
that's awesome.
I mean, I can understand why people get addicted to that though, and kind of want to know more, because I think it just ultimately expands your viewpoint, right? Like you start questioning why you think certain things anyway, right? And I think that's what's great about conspiracies and kind of just, okay, maybe it's not true, but let me find out why. And especially, I mean, we talk about this on the show all the time. So the government told you that that's not true, so you believe it? Like, I'm at a point in my life where I don't really believe anything people in politics say anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, think about being raised in the church. There are a lot of times when you have questions, they'll just say, just because it says so in the Bible, because, the pastor said so. And I think there's just that stigma that we're not supposed to talk like that or have doubts or anything, but God encourages that. And I think when it comes to conspiracies or trust in the government, it's like, there's nothing wrong with loving your country and doing these certain things, but to know why we're doing it, to understand why these things are happening. I think that's so important.
Did 9/11, was it an inside job?
Absolutely.
Yes, it was.
Was it really? Please educate me.
Oh yeah. I mean, the people talk about like Bigfoot being like the gateway drug to conspiracies or the cryptids. 9/11 was the gateway to conspiracies in my life, because I was in
you and me both. Dude.
Yeah, I was in 3rd grade when it happened. And
much younger than me though.
Yeah. And that just, my dad is the one who's like, I don't know. This seems, what about Building 7? Because nothing hit that and it just collapsed on its own. And
the passport found 2 miles away.
Yeah.
Come on.
Or the lack of turbine holes in the Pentagon. There's just a singular entrance.
Yeah. I don't know. The term using inside job, I think, is pretty broad, and it should probably be that way. But like, it could have been multiple factors. Like they probably could have known about it and kind of like let it happen to start a war in Iraq or Afghanistan, or they could have been fully involved in it. That I don't know, but I do think the U.S. government did know about it and let it happen.
I mean, when you think about murder cases, they always ask the question, who has the most to gain from this, right? And that's usually the suspect. And it's like, you look at it, I mean, we made a lot of money. There was a lot of stuff, a lot of control that happened throughout that within U.S. government people, not even talking about like foreign soil, like the Privacy Act, everything, like all that stuff changed America forever. Yeah, the Patriot Act.
So
It was.
I don't know enough about it because I don't really go down the conspiracy rabbit hole, so to speak. The way I live my life is I'm just one man. I try and live the best life possible. I take care of my children and my family and my wife and just try and be a good person. And I can't change much anyway, so why bother, going down those rabbit holes and wasting my time? However, if what you guys are saying there is true, then that is just wild beyond belief. And it just makes you think, what else? What isn't possible? I mean, the fact that they would do that, if you firmly 100% believe that the government would kill thousands of people by blowing or flying a plane into two skyscrapers.
What about JFK? I mean, they would kill their own president, though. I mean, if you believe that JFK was murdered because of CIA actions, then that's them literally killing their own head.
Yeah, but never mind the president. That's one man. We're talking thousands of people.
But you got to think, I mean,
hold on. What happened? Now, and again, we're just having fun here.
We're just goofing off.
What happened? Exactly, right?
Goofers.
But what happened after that? What happened to the country? What happened
No, I know. No, I know. But I'm just thinking about that. Sitting down in a room, some human beings said, like, here's what we do. We're gonna fly some planes into the World Trade Center just to set up a war and kill millions of people. If you can believe that that's true, and by the sounds of it, a lot of what I see online, and I do, I've consumed some content, it looks like there is a very believable narrative there, but it's just like, to me, it's like, if that is true, then fuck me, anything's possible.
Well, I also think there's a separation between the government that we see and the government that we don't see, i.e. like the deep state of the U.S.
Sure. Even global power, too.
The unelected officials. Yeah, deep state.
I mean, that's the thing, right? It seems like, and you talk about other countries too, it's like, where's it really being ran? And it's like, yeah, there's wars and countries go up and down, but if there's a group of elites that are just basically in charge of all, man, Mike, I'm telling you, hey, this is conspiracy corner. I'm going full conspiracy on.
And it's so easy to rewrite history. I mean, within 100 years, do you really think people are going to be discussing 9/11 like we do now? Like, it's going to be a tragic event because they know over time, the people in charge, they're not going to be blamed for this stuff 50 years for these kids, these people that they're promising, the governors, all these people. That stuff's going to change, just like the Rockefellers in the 1900s. Like that, all the shady stuff that they did. We're not able to dissect it because there's not footage back then. There's not recordings or anything at all. It's so easy to write history. And that phrase, the winners write history. And that's exactly what happens. And so
they funded both sides of the war. That's the Rockefeller reference that you're making.
I mean, yeah, there's so many
Rothschilds.
Yeah.
Rothschilds, that's what it was. They funded both sides of the war. So whoever won, that's what I'm talking about. It wasn't a national play. It was whoever won, they made money.
It's greed. Especially, Michael, it's definitely just greed. It literally perverts, like just you've seen it, I'm sure. Like it perverts the human's heart and it drives people crazy.
Which is disgusting, but I'm a pretty influenceable person. So until recently, I genuinely believed man went on the moon. And then I saw a clip of Joe Rogan talking about all these points that I can't remember what they were.
Now we're getting into it.
And then I sat there to my wife and I watched the video. I went, holy shit, he brings up some good points here that maybe we didn't go to the moon. So what do you guys think?
I think it changes daily, honestly. But
I think we went. I just don't think we went when we said we did because we were in the race to the moon with the Russians. I think we went. I think it was just they had to make something up first and show it to the people because it meant a lot to the country. I mean, JFK was behind it. All this stuff was happening. So, I mean, I think it happened, but I mean, they got a whole car up there on their first go around, driving around. I mean, are you kidding me? That's crazy.
Think of the technology that they had then to be doing that kind of stuff. It's like, it just doesn't make any damn sense. It really doesn't.
Yeah. It's wild.
I saw something recently where there was some scientist, it was sent to me, again, similar to you guys. I don't claim to be an expert on anything, but they were saying that Mars might have been a civilization that had been nuked and destroyed by some other civilization or alien civilization. You guys see anything on that?
Yeah, I have seen that, and it's terrifying. There's actually a theory. Yeah, there's a theory that it's a wild theory, and there's not a lot to base it off of. But a theory would be that going back to scripture, it's not in scripture. I would just say that. But the great rebellion that happened with all the angels and the war that was waged against God, that there's a theory that the different planets were occupied by different heavenly beings. So Mars was in fact occupied by a certain heavenly being civilization. And when the war happened, that's when the planet got destroyed.
See, I like that one. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. I mean, all those planets out there and these galaxies and universes, there's shit going on out there that we don't know. And I'll buy that. I'll take that one, boys. You've got
all right. That's the hard.
All right, we got him.
I'm easy. There it is. Mars was an ancient civilization that was destroyed by, what was it again?
Just the war against the angels and God.
The rebellion.
The rebellion.
Got it. There it is. There it is. I'm going to call our producer.
Theory, it's a fact.
Yeah, exactly. Brian, are you there, please? Our producer, because he's a big conspiracy guy. Realistically, Brian, you should be leading this conversation, not me.
I should. I was just trying to save myself some editing time, not popping up.
I hear that.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm into all that stuff. I asked my brother, because he served in the Afghanistan and Iraq conflicts, and I was like, "Have you ever heard anything about these giants in the caves?" And he read the story, and he was like, "Well, first of all, these guys wouldn't have been in that area." Like, he just broke it down where he was like, "You're actually retarded." So I was like, "All right, fine, fair enough."
Talk to me about Bigfoot, though. That was interesting. What do you think on that? Is there a Bigfoot? Is there a Sasquatch? Is there a big, gigantic, man-like species roaming around the Pacific Northwest?
I definitely think so. I think there's too many stories throughout human civilization that all see something like Bigfoot for it to be fake. Like even like the ancient or the Native Americans, like their folklore and stuff, like they all have a Bigfoot in Asia, in Europe. There's always a Bigfoot story.
The totems too. They have all living creatures on their totems plus a Bigfoot. And so it doesn't make sense that they would add a singular non-real being.
And that brings up something too. Speaking of Bigfoot or beings like that and different cultures and stuff having it in there, on the walls or sculptures and stuff like that. Have you watched any of the stuff about the ranch?
Skinwalker Ranch.
Skinwalker Ranch. Do you think maybe there's something like that where there's interdimensional things or things that come in, and that would explain why they come and go and nobody ever actually gets a hold of one of these types of creatures?
Yeah, it sounds really crazy and far-fetched, but I definitely think Bigfoot or whatever this cryptid is able to travel in and out of our dimension. And that sounds absolutely psycho, but
yes,
See, love it. The wilder it is, he's for it.
Yeah.
No,
I just think it's total nonsense. I think it's crazy. If I'm honest. I love it. You know what I mean? Hey, freedom of speech. You guys say whatever you want. You got a great podcast, but God bless you. You know what I mean? God fucking bless you.
One other thing, Mike. Did you see this, Bisping? Do you remember? I don't know if it was last year, but there was all these sightings of potential extraterrestrials, and then there was an incident in the mall where people were running and screaming.
Yeah.
Where was that? Was that in Florida?
Yeah, Miami.
It was in Miami, right?
Yeah, just south of us. It was crazy. It was happening on January 1st of 2020. Was it 2024?
Yeah.
Absolutely wild. Over 100 cop cars were met at this mall. Teenagers apparently had seen this. Not even teenagers, adults. Everyone was claiming portals. These bright portals that opened up within the Miami Mall, and absolutely nothing said about it after that. The next week, nothing. It completely dropped. There's no eyewitness testimony. There's no phone footage. But yet you had a mass amount of people sprinting thousands out of this mall, and not one camera footage caught anything.
Yeah, no one filmed anything. And then it was when you see that many police respond to an incident,
it's massive.
There's something big that's happened. That's not guys from one, that's not just one dispatch. That's from all over the place. So whatever went out was huge. And then when they're like, yeah, it's kids with sticks and they got in a fireworks, fight, and then fireworks came in.
Yeah, that story kept on changing,
and it changed. Yeah, it changed a couple times.
The fact that there's zero video from inside the mall, from phones, from cop cars, body cam footage, there's nothing.
Security footage from inside, like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
That
crazy.
one was wild, dude. That one got to me for a while. I was trying to dig. I was looking for footage of it, and again,
there's nothing.
And then it was gone, and we forget about it.
Yeah,
and it's good that guys like you do ask these kind of questions, because that one there for sure sounds like there was definitely a cover up. What is your best theory on that?
I mean, there's almost nothing to go on. I mean, our mind goes to aliens, just because it's more fun.
Well, there was this one dude. Again, this is just a video I saw, but he was talking about it was a. So there's this project. It was when was the Philadelphia project? The 50s?
Yeah, 50s or 60s. Yeah,
something like that. But the Philadelphia project, have you heard of that?
I haven't. No,
I've heard of it, but now I'm not going to know off the top of my head.
Yeah, so
but
basically,
I've heard Philadelphia project.
It was using this technology to,
it's like cloaking, right?
Yeah, but like go through like a time warp portal kind of thing. And so the story goes that the USS Philadelphia, when they turned this on, it disappeared and reappeared hundreds of miles away. And when it reappeared, the men were like melted into the ship. And so it was technology that went wrong. And so the theory is that the Navy has been working on that technology ever since, and they accidentally opened a portal or whatever into the Mall of Miami. And yeah, and
damn, John, I told you don't hit that button.
Yeah. Had to go to Wetzel's Pretzels.
Yeah, get a Sbarro's or something.
Annie Ants.
Yeah.
That's why I hate malls.
When the damn portals open up, you got to wait forever. The only other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was CERN and all the stuff they're doing with that stuff, and that similar type of like what's going on there. Mike, do you ever heard any of this stuff? Bisping?
I have not. Right? I have no idea.
Yeah, so we started the podcast. We're a comedy podcast. That's the category we're under, because we are not professionals in anything. And our first episode, we actually talked about CERN, and the whole thing is super weird. So the idea of CERN is that they're trying to find the God particle, which is a particle that they've never been able to observe. But there's been just crazy weird stories. There's weird imagery with the whole thing. Like they have the god Shiva erected in front of CERN, which is the god of death and destruction.
Yeah.
Super random.
That's not like a conspiracy. You can pull up an image. It's right there in front of their headquarters.
Yeah.
Yeah, the symbolism is very, very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so actually this video, apparently the opening, like before they opened CERN, they did this secret ritual that someone got on video.
Like, come on. Like,
they didn't know that they were being recorded.
It's right in front of our face.
Right.
Yeah. So they're doing this whole ritual. But then when it got exposed, the dudes were like, oh, no, this is all a joke. We knew that this guy was recording us.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like, that's a really weird joke.
when your bro's secretly recording you, don't you go and grab your friends and get some
cloaks?
Yeah. Do a seance. I mean, that's what everyone does.
That's what me and Michael do before every broadcast is we get and we just,
All right, today's episode is sponsored by Prizepicks, and Prizepicks is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, Prizepicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prizepicks. So as I said, you just pick more or less, and right now you can cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prizepicks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prizepicks lineups, whether it's points, rebounds, assists. Take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Turn your playoff hot takes into tickets to basketball's championship series, starting with the play-in round. Every lineup you make on Prizepicks will enter you in the Takes Two ticket sweepstakes, which could get you and the plus one a VIP trip to the ship. Prizepicks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Prizepicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more. Every Tuesday, Prizepicks will discount several projections on the board, usually by 15 to 25%. And then on Fridays, make sure you check out Flex Friday. Make sure you opt in and tap the checkbox in your lineup builder to be eligible for the protected play. Choose squares from any game on the board. If your lineup does not win, you get your net losses back in promo funds to your promo limit as soon as the lineup settles. So the basketball playoffs are here and the action is heating up on Prizepicks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. Think LeBron James will get more than 24 points? It's that easy. Yes or no? Will Giannis get more than 35 points? Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this basketball season when you and your crew run your game on Prizepicks. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite plays from the ice in your Prizepicks lineup, whether it's goals, points, or hits. Take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Think Connor McDavid will get more than one goal next week? Will Austin Matthews hit for more than 5 shots on goal? Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this hockey season when you and your crew run your game on Prizepicks. So, download the app today. Use the code BELIEVE to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code BELIEVE to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prizepicks, run your game.
It's
Are
wild.
you guys UFC fans?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, love it.
I thought I could be a fighter until I fought someone who was actually a sanctioned fighter, and I hit him in the nose one time. I smiled, and the smile set him off. And next thing you know, I was looking at the ceiling of the gym and decided that was the end of my career. 6 months later.
You know, it's funny. I saw a thing on it's always Instagram these days, but the post said, and I don't know where they get these stats, the average male overestimates their ability to fight by 4,000%.
I'm
said, well,
1,000% sure of that.
Yeah. And I said to my wife, I said, well, it all depends who they're going to fight. I mean, obviously, if they're going to fight a professional, maybe it might not go well. But if they're going to fight someone else that also sucks, maybe they do good.
Yeah, there's only one way to find out.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was going to say, of the three of you guys, who do you think is? Oh, I mean, you at least went and tried to fight.
We'll have to find. We'll have
you
to find
can
out.
scrap.
Yeah, Andy wrestled. He's I'm like
there you go.
jiu-jitsu guy, which means I can win when no one else has ever watched a fight. But
also
Andy would smoke me.
I have a gut right now, so who knows?
He also he has like some daddy issues, so I think that rage would come out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Don't worry.
There's always daddy issues.
Yeah.
You know, let's be honest. Or childhood trauma of some sort. I think that's one theme that you'll find throughout all UFC. Well, not all of them. I don't know. What about you, Paul? A little sprinkle of childhood trauma?
I mean, I've been on here talking about how my mom would have me go and square up with kids that had already beat me up once and to make me go back and stand my ground. So, there's probably some childhood trauma.
That's just good parenting.
Yeah, man.
No,
Mom didn't play.
It's like my dad, because this is what my wife always tells me, because she's had to like completely re-hardwire me as a human being, you know, because when I was a kid, my dad, if I ever got into a fight, all that mattered, did I win? Did I win? And as long as I won, I wasn't in any trouble whatsoever. Whether or not, I mean, I never went out starting fights or anything like that. And even when I got arrested for coming home, like, you know, you think I'll be 15 getting arrested by the police. You think then my dad will be like, come on, Mike, get it together. But no, as long as I won the fight, he didn't give a shit. It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
Crazy.
We got Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates this weekend. Do you guys know anything about that?
I do not.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's not a big pay-per-view or anything like that. So it's more for your hardcore fans. Who are some of the fighters that you guys enjoy watching? Do you like Alex Pereira? Anybody like that?
I love
who that is.
I mean, I'm not crazy into fighting and stuff, but I love clips of Patty. I think he's the funniest dude.
See, and that's exactly right. That's why Patty is such a big name right now. But did you see any clips of the last fight that he had? Because he whipped some ass in his last fight.
Yeah.
That was wild.
He whipped some ass. And that's the kid that people have been doubting. And it's because a lot of people that aren't necessarily diehard fans like him because he's an interesting guy, he's a funny guy, but he proved in the last fight, man, that he's a pretty legit contender coming up right now.
Yeah, it was awesome to watch.
Yeah, dude.
It's amazing. I grew up watching Forrest Griffin and Rampage. Those were I remember the first two that I really fell in love with. So I think it was like 2009.
Yeah, that's some good old school stuff there. Speaking of Paddy, he just came out this week. He said that he weighed in for his fight last week or whenever it was. It was 155 pounds. He's already back up to 198 pounds. He had four milkshakes and a Burger King.
That's insane, dude. I saw that. 4 milkshakes. I couldn't. I mean, maybe gun to my head, I could drink 4 milkshakes right now, but you would have to threaten me physically for me to drink 4 milkshakes.
Yeah, that's insane.
Call him Hamburger
awesome.
Patty. That's what we need to call him.
Yeah, dude, he's insane. But you know what, Mike? I saw a clip of him too. He was eating all the way up to the fight too. So, dude, I want to know what his weight was in the ring, in the cage. Yeah, I'd like to know what his weight was. I'll bet he was. If I had to guess, I'd say he was at least 180 from 155 the day before.
Well, listen, guys, if you should really check out this weekend, Ian Garry versus Carlos.
Seriously, though, you'll see a good scrap. Yeah.
It's on ESPN. Paul Felder's going to be commentating. Paul Felder's going to be handling the interviews in the octagon. You know, so if you want to see a real professional do it, now's your chance, because otherwise it'd be me, and Paul's way better than I am. Guys, where do people watch the podcast? Because I'm not a conspiracy guy, although now I've got to start looking into some of this stuff. Where do people find you on Instagram and the podcast?
Yeah, so our Instagram is just Ninjas or Butterflies, and our YouTube is Sunday Cool Teas, or just Sunday Cool. That's our company name. And then on Spotify, just Ninjas or Butterflies.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
Where does the name Ninjas or Butterflies come from?
Well, we said it's a secret, and we're going to reveal on our last episode. So,
okay.
Yeah, whenever we eventually have a fallout or a fight or something, we're going to do it on our last episode. So,
well, you'll have to do it before 2027, because that's the what is it? That's the end of the world.
Yeah, it's the end of the world.
Bro,
it says here though, the AI overview, the statement "Ninjas or Butterflies" is a reference to the popular comedy podcast called Ninjas and Butterflies. For fuck's sake! I thought I had it, but I had to click on the show more.
The AI's on our side, all right.
You people, you're too good, guys. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. All the best with everything, and great talking to you for a little bit.
Yeah,
thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Love y'all.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. And I'll be checking everything you post out. So you still crack me the hell up.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
You guys take care. Ninjas are indeed butterflies. I got to start looking into some of that stuff.
Dude, it's just, and again, and similar to how they're approaching it too, where like, I didn't even know that much about them. This is the most I'm learning about them too. I just really enjoyed the clips. I had no idea it came from any sort of Christian youth groups and stuff like that. You wouldn't gather that when you actually follow them and listen to the stuff.
Anyway, thank you for your time, people. Should we get Harrington on for a quick second, and we'll do a question or two to wrap this one up? How long have we been going? An hour and a half. Harrington, is there any do we want to talk about Israel Adesanya training with David Goggins? One of you, Harrington?
Yeah, I mean, I have that story. Apparently, he has been working with David Goggins. He posted the video to his Instagram, and then Tim Welsh, Sean O'Malley's coach, says he has it on good authority that what Izzy wants next is a fight with Sean Strickland. He is going to, he just wants to get that win back, and he thinks that's what's next for him.
So, thank you, Harrington. David Goggins, never met the guy. Seems like a very inspirational, motivational guy.
Yeah.
In the corner of John Jones, right?
Was I know Tony Ferguson.
In the corner of Tony Ferguson. I'm sure he was in John Jones's corner versus Stipe. Was he? Or am I imagining that? I know he was there against for Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, he was definitely in there with Tony against Patty, I believe. Is the fight.
Maybe I'm completely manufacturing.
UFC 285 against Cyril Gane. He was in Jones' corner.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you. I don't think a guy like Israel Adesanya, listen, don't get me wrong, whatever brings you to the dance, whatever gives you a little bit more motivation, whatever spurs you on to get your old mojo back, or whatever the case may be, more power to him. But generally, I don't think somebody like Israel Adesanya necessarily. In fact, I'm doing a massive 180. Maybe David Goggins is precisely what he needs, because Izzy doesn't need to learn how to fight.
Yeah, he's got to dig deep.
He just needs someone to tap into his mind.
Yeah, and get him remotivated. Yeah, listen, I think depending on what you're using it for, this could be a great thing for him, because if it's just to get your ass back in gear, get you motivated, like you're saying, and maybe push yourself to another level that you're not quite getting just doing your basic everyday gym training, and you want to just kind of find out who you are, Goggins is the guy to pull that out of you, right? He's just going to torture you. He's going to make you find another level down there. And with somebody like Izzy, who's still shown that he's still got the skills, whereas Tony, I see why that might have been something they were trying to pair up with each other to try to dig him out of the trenches. But I think he's just too far gone physically and in so many other ways where he wasn't able to really make him successful. But Jones, I could see why John would want a guy like that around, a guy who maybe slips off and loses discipline. And Izzy maybe is having the same issues where he just needs to find that next level of commitment and grit, more importantly. So yeah, as long as that's the call. I mean, obviously you can't just train with David for your MMA. You've still got to get a fight. But if he's just trying to get himself, and if he wants Strickland, well, Strickland's had a lot of choice words to say about David Goggins over the years too.
Oh, was he really?
Oh yeah.
What's he said about David Goggins?
Oh, he's called him just a fake, and you're just a guy who runs and acts like he's a tough guy, and they've had some back and forths over the years.
That's when Strickland ended up sparring that Navy SEAL who went like the full time with him, but he ended up getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah, I mean, Strickland likes to do that stuff. But yeah, going back to Izzy for a second, yeah, because he doesn't need to learn how to fight. All right, you can make an argument. He needs to work on his takedown defense. The guy's had a legendary Hall of Fame career. He's probably going to have a few more fights and call it a day. All he needs to do is to tap into that mentality, that psyche, that motivation. And David Goggins is perfect.
Yeah.
Does Izzy need to fight again? No. Does he want to end his career on a few wins? Probably. Does he want to become the champion again? There's a very, very good possibility that he's like, no, I want to be the champion again. And I love the Sean Strickland call out, to be honest. That makes all the sense in the world. Beating Izzy was the one that gave Strickland the belt. That's when he became this superstar, Yeah. Izzy versus Sean Strickland, stick it on International Fight Week.
Yeah, it makes total sense, right? It's a redemption fight. It's a fight that kind of set you off and started dipping off on your career. And it's a winnable fight for him too. And I think it's a fight that if you're going to get motivated, like we're talking about, and bringing in Goggins and trying to find that fire again, sometimes circumstances are what you need, right? And having that be that loss that really kind of tipped the scales for you to get that one back, I think makes you hungry in the gym again. So I like that as well. And Strickland needs a fight that's, still relevant and important, but not for the title, obviously. And that makes sense to fight Izzy.
It's crazy because a lot of people came up with the idea that I was defending Israel Adesanya left, right, and center around that time. What I was saying was, Izzy, I think, had become a little complacent. He was beating everybody. He was beating everybody soundly. Obviously, Sean Strickland did a really good job of torturing him at the press conference, brought up all of that dog stuff, and then someone else, I think it was MMA Guru, found like loads of stuff about Izzy and dogs and following dog fetish pages. I don't know if that's true or if there's any validity to it, but there was this narrative, do you know what I mean, that was getting brought up, and then you can bring it back to Izzy like peeing on the octagon when it came in and cocking his leg. And then, of course, Izzy went through, what was it? He had to go to court for drink driving, and then people said I was defending him drink driving. I wasn't, but what I actually said at the time was, I think most people that have a driver's license have maybe had a beer and got behind the wheel of a car, so to use a biblical reference, let the throw the first stone, what I'm saying? But I do think Izzy was going through a lot at those times. I think he was going through a bit of an identity crisis, definitely a bit complacent. And then on the flip side, you got Sean Strickland, who's bloody hungry as hell.
Yeah,
and you're the opportunity. So I think that fight might go very differently in a rematch.
Yeah, I think it absolutely could. And I think a lot of it depends on how hungry Izzy can make himself again. Can he be committed again? Can he be that force that he was for so many years? And man, we saw Volk do it recently. It can happen, but you've got to be hungry, and Volk was.
What's the movie? If I could stand up, I would dance. Okay. And if I could, I'm trying to dance, but I can't dance. And I keep getting the moves wrong. And the guy that I'm with me, he can do the dance. He can do the dance, and I'm getting it wrong. Okay. And it's a grimy area. It's not very nice. It's not lush. It's not beautiful that I was used to and I'd become accustomed to. I gone back to somewhere a bit grimy, and I was having to do a dance, and I couldn't do. Oh no. I was doing it and I couldn't do it. Come on, bro. Come on. You've seen this. It revolves around your city.
Oh, it's got to be a Rocky movie then.
Brian Harrington, Mike, what were you going to say, Harrington?
I was going to jump in with the hint from the Fighting City of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa.
Which Rocky is
3. Rocky 3 when he has to get his mojo back.
Well, I know him in the gym when he's trying to work with Apollo and he got no rhythm. I remember that.
Harrington, do you remember the dancing bit where they're in the gym and they got the headbands on and the tiny little short shorts?
Oh yeah, I mean it's as 80s as it gets. That was incredible.
Yeah, it's great.
That's the same one with the beach sprints in the crop top belly shirts going on there too.
God. It's so good. Have you seen Brian? Brian, maybe we can play this real quick. In fact, I think we can play this and not get demonetized. Renato Laranja, he's done the one with Chris Cyborg. Have you seen that? Brian, just jump on. See if you can bring that up. You gotta see this. Are you
talking about the Craig Jones pre-fight thing?
No, it's Renato Laranja, Chris Cyborg, Rocky running on the beach spoof. It's so good. It's so good. Brian will find it in just a second, and then we'll do a question. And if you've got a question, please send it in. bympod@gmail.com. Don't be shy. Also got some merch designs being finalized as we speak. MMA.
Yeah, I can get rid of this shirt.
Yeah, exactly, Paul. You show a bit of goddamn loyalty. Brian, did we find that? He's probably Googling away feverishly.
So I found it on YouTube, but the video's been removed. So I don't know if anyone's ripped it. I'm looking for it on Twitter and right now.
Oh, it's okay. It's not essential to the show, but it is funny. Renato Laranja. You've seen his stuff, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. Is he the jiu-jitsu guy, the fake jiu-jitsu guy? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. He's funny.
Champion.
Yeah. I have seen his stuff. Yeah.
I could find it right now. I guarantee it. Hold on, listen.
And he's not really. Is he not even really Brazilian? Right? Is he just speaking?
Don't
like
say anything.
Accent?
No, you can't. You can't do it. You can't. Yeah, that is shrouded in secrecy. I'll tell you off. What is it? Rocky scene. Anyway, we should do a question. Brian, let's do a question. He's probably still.
I was still looking.
I know, and I respect it.
I found it.
Brian Harrington got it. Good. There we go. There we go. Put it in the chat.
Yeah.
I hope this is worth it now. It is worth it.
No, it's been hyped. It's been hyped.
Anymore. I don't want it.
No, that's not it. Tell me the truth.
All right, you want me to tell you? You want me to tell you? All right. I don't want to lose what I get. Before, I didn't care if I got busted up. But now there's you, there's a kid, everyone lose what I get.
You got a car, you got a clothes, you got a money, you got everything. But the truth, tell me the truth now.
I'm afraid. For the first time in my life, I'm afraid. I don't want to end up like a bum, like Vinny Magalhaes.
You're not Vinny Magalhaes, you're not a bum. You're gorgeous. You have a perfect body. You have a light skin. You're perfect. Can I talk to you?
Yeah, but there's another bit, whatever. As they're running along and he can't run and whatever. It's funny shit. If you have a question, send it into BYM Pod. Thank you, Brian, for finding that at gmail.com. Send it in. What we got today, Bri?
Well, we didn't get a question. I warned you guys in the chat about this, but we did get a weird Scottish ramble about leg kicks. I'm not sure if you guys want to hear it or not.
I mean, I kind of got to hear it.
Yeah, now I need to know.
Here we are.
Okay.
So there's a wee thing, I'm not sure if you heard of it, but instead of doing the slaps where you try to take the taste out of someone's mouth, it's lower leg kicks. And it's a similar thing. You have 2 weak circles on the floor and you put your stance leg, stability leg in the circle, and then whip your leg round and try and find the meat of the thigh. For anybody who's been there, it is better to give than receive. That being said, I wanted a few boys, rather than doing the slap fighting thing, as far as a participation thing, we just have a wee go at the lower leg kicks. I think you'd have fun. You'd have fun, right?
I know what this guy's talking about. Have you seen the clips where instead of, similar setup to slap, where you just go back and forth, but it's leg kicks?
You mean that power slap, but for leg kicks?
But for leg kicks, where you just go 1 for 1 until somebody quits from leg kicks. Really? I've seen this. Yeah, there's like competitions where
you got to try and look this up, Brian. I got to see.
Oh, it's out there.
Clip of this.
It's nasty, dude. And I've seen guys just battering. I mean, as hard as you can, kick for kick with leg kicks.
I get off the plane.
It's called Low Kick Championship.
I have a Twitter so you don't have to play.
Hey, I wonder what they do in the low kick championships.
Yeah,
I got off the plane yesterday. Do you know who I meet? Some Russian guy, Michael. Because I get off the plane and I'm always rushing to clear customs because it's always a shit show.
It's a line, yeah.
Yeah, and this guy's running after me. He's hey, Russian, how are you, Michael? Nice to meet you, big fan. And I'm like, okay, nice to meet you too, buddy. But while still trying to scurry to the line. Let's have a look at this. Oh no. Can check. That's it.
I've seen some gnarly ones. I've seen that's just one clip. I've seen some where dudes are just battering each other's legs. I mean, like 5, 6 kicks in.
It goes on for a while if you want to keep watching.
No, it's okay. We get it, but thank you, Brian. Yeah, no. So you must have seen this stuff, Paul. This guy, turns out, he showed me on his phone. He said, you must have seen this. The 4-on-4 Russian MMA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Is this the guy?
Oh, dude.
He's the founder of that.
That guy?
Yeah. He's like, this is my promotion. It's going to be the biggest thing ever. UFC is going to be much bigger than UFC. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, brother, this is the one. And he's like, he was trying to get me to hook up a meeting with Dana White and stuff.
Oh,
like,
my God.
I don't, it's not a new concept, Yeah. Instead of having 2 people fight, we have 8 people fight. That's it's called a gang fight. Okay.
Dude, and I've seen that though with these Russian promotions. I've seen they're on like an obstacle course, basically fighting each other, knocking each other over things. And there's like 8, 9 dudes all fighting each other at one time. I've seen it. Russia has no limits on how many people can fight at once.
Do you guys know there's this promotion called Thermopylae Team Combat? And it's a lane. Like, it's not a boxing ring. They set 4 dudes in a lane and then you go one at a time.
My God, like you're fighting in a hallway.
Yeah, but you go one at a time. So like the first 2 dudes will fight and then the loser rolls out and then the next dude on his team comes up and fights.
Wow.
There's just like so many iterations.
Yeah.
Like you've seen the stuff there. Dressed up as medieval knights with the swords and shields and the armor.
Of course. I mean, Harrington he works for right, Harrington? No, you do commentary for this?
I have been called the Joe Rogan of armored enemies.
And you've obviously seen, because we have Samsung TV. We've talked about it, and I just use that a lot of the time. I was scrolling through it. There's a whole fight section. Have you seen? I don't know what they call it. Car jiu-jitsu. Have you seen this? Where they start, they've got to have the belt buckles on. And it's
and they race to get the buckle up.
And then they go, beep, the timer goes, like, get the seatbelt off. They're attacking each other in the car.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's crazy.
There's ways for fighters to, here it is.
Oh, yeah, look. Look at them. Oh.
And he beat him to it. The guy's not out of his seatbelt. That's a big disadvantage.
Top position. There he is. He's trying to look for something.
I don't know what he's looking for there.
Nah, he's going for something else.
That's a different video.
Yeah, that's a good time when you were a kid. Anyway, that is the show, ladies and gentlemen. Big thank you to ninjas or butterflies.
Yeah.
That was a bit different. Something very, very different for the show.
We don't have any, we didn't have any fights to talk about this past weekend. We got fights coming up this weekend. We previewed the card. We had a question. We talked leg kicks and multiple MMA fights all happening at one time. We talked some conspiracies. All the opinions here are just opinions, everyone, and not fact or.
We gave everybody a very scientific breakdown on Ozempic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's all based
nobody
in
needs
fact,
to know anything else.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm basically a medical doctor at this point.
Correct. And that's why people watch the show. See you next time.